And we're back. That's right. Podcast by aluckydevil. Can you believe it? They didn't kill me. Episode 2. We got a lot to go over. You know, I guess I should start out by thanking those of you who supported the first episode. I'm not one for sincerity or sentimentality, so this is more difficult for me. But from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say, in a heartfelt way, thank you. The reception was chef's kiss. You know, some of the stuff that y'all have told me is going to stay with me forever, honestly. And it's definitely got enough juice in my battery pack to keep this going for a fucking millennia. Now, that's the good stuff. But you. Yeah, you. What are you doing here? We talked about this. The last time I told you, before it even started, you're already upset. So uptight, so bent out of shape, and you, I don't know, stuck around. You definitely hate watched the whole thing. Some of the stuff that was said, you had to watch the whole thing. I didn't clip a lot of it. And you came back for more. I mean, what is this? You can't even call me a sadist. You have to accept that you must be a masochist. That's really the only thing that explains why you've come back. I mean, what are you, an alley cat? Huh? You're a stray. Is that what it is? You see a dark alley, you just gotta wander down it and wonder what's at the end, and then bitch and complain when there's not a pot of gold waiting for you? Guys, I did something in the last podcast, you know. I made it a point. I made it an entire point not to even bring up politics. I went a full fucking hour. The only time I mentioned Daddy T was when I brought up my legal immigrant mother, my legal immigrant Mexican mother, my legal immigrant Mexican lesbian mother is a MAGA conservative Christian. All right? Shout outs, Mom, on the right side of history. So I went a full hour without talking politics once, and y'all still found a way to bitch, whine, and complain. I mean, did you just fill in the blanks for yourself? You know, my last podcast, I lauded my mother. I praised her. I thanked her for my superpowers. I went into her history of being a Mensa IQ level genius, how she was harvested from Mexico and brought to this country legally. And, you know, I said, my mother, despite all odds of fitting in these boxes that your identity politics would love to have her on the front lines of these retard No Kings protests, despite all odds, my mother came out on the right side of history as a MAGA conservative Christian. Now, I so generously was forthcoming with the fact that my mother is a lesbian. I didn't have to say it, but I did, okay? And I might have shot myself in the foot with the people on my team, if you will, by even saying that. But I went ahead and said it anyways, and somehow y'all are able to put homophobe, slap that label on me? I mean, make it fucking make sense. And gentlemen, this is the main point. This is the reason why it makes no sense to walk on eggshells to try and appease the liberal left. It makes no sense at all. I mean, why dance in the impossible obstacle course littered with landmines if they're gonna fucking find a way anyways to demonize you? It makes no sense. This is why you don't play ball. This is why we don't negotiate with terrorists. Again, my mother, a legal Mexican immigrant lesbian, is a MAGA conservative Christian. I go an entire podcast without talking about my politics. I laud and praise this woman, and the liberal left still finds a way to call me homophobic. Make it fucking make sense. Then I make my views known on The No Kings protest. The No Kings protest. The riots. I make my views known. As a Mexican who comes from a family of legal immigrants, I make my views known. And I had a bunch of liberal retards, white ones, mind you, telling me how I should feel about immigration. Wait a minute. And they had the nerve to call me racist without any self-awareness that this might be racist on their parts, to tell me and my fucking family who waited in line how to feel about these illegals, these fucking criminals, when these South American countries have emptied their prisons, their insane asylums, they've emptied them into this country, 10 million or more, flooded in. And they want to tell us how we should feel about illegal immigration. These motherfuckers telling us how we should feel. Just imagine them waiting in line at Kroger and a fucking Mexican cuts in front of them. They would call the fucking police. These Karens would be in hysterics. He cut in line in front of me. There'd be carrot sticks and zucchini flying everywhere. But they want to tell us how we should feel about these fucking illegals, these criminals. And then they want to riot in the streets and cause destruction. They find a way to call you homophobic. They find a way to call you racist. They found a way to call me misogynist. I didn't bring up my father and all the gifts that he gave me. I brought up my mother. I mean, I dare say the entire podcast was almost a tribute to her, thanking her for giving me a free mind. You know what? You're never going to hear it from me, ever. You can't. You just can't. Your minds are too compromised. So what we'll do is, since you can't hear it from me, since I'm a straight white guy, right? Let's hear it from my mother. Now, my mother reminded me, because she saw the podcast, she loved it. She loved that I was saying, my mother is the most based bull dyke of all time. I mean, hashtag based bull dyke. That's my mom. She loved the podcast and she called me. She wanted to reminisce about some of the things we went through when we were younger. Now, I'm about to play you a clip here. My mom was telling me about a time that my brother and I, my late brother and I, we were just little kids, and we came home and said, Mommy, we need to boycott Chick-fil-A. I know, I was a little but I didn't know any better. All right, so let's see what my mother had to say.
And then y'all came home and told me that y'all were boycotting Chick-fil-A. And I was like, why are y'all boycotting Chick-fil-A? And y'all were like, well, because he's against the gay community. And I was like, that man those are his religious beliefs, and you are not going to force a man to give up his religious beliefs. Now I have to go eat at Chick-fil-A because I support individuality of the rights of people to believe what they believe.
You hear that? My lesbian mother, when we came home and said, Mommy, we need to boycott Chick-fil-A, said, no, we're going to go and eat there more because it doesn't matter that his beliefs juxtapose my lifestyle. The fact that people are boycotting them means we need to go eat there because those are his beliefs and he has the right to them. It doesn't matter if they juxtapose my lifestyle.
So this goes back to what I was telling you, that I raised you to believe in people and respecting people and individuality, demanding that they respect you and you respecting them, and that I would fight for somebody's freedom of speech even if it disagreed with me.
Bruh, can we just say it? My mother is the most based bull dyke of all time. All right, let's play some more.
Because it is more important that everyone have the right to speak freely, and it is horrible to be censored. And those were the first seeds where they were trying to literally put, you know, things around people's neck and force them to like and dislike. So, and they use the gay issue as their background. But the thing is that doesn't have to do with gay issue. That has to do with lack of respect for people's right to believe and think and speak freely. They get to not like people, just like people don't like them. That's how it works. We all get to think exactly how we think. Free will was the idea of God. God himself backs free will, and no one has the right to take it from us.
Look, before I go on a full-on assault of the libtards, I want my people on my side to see my mother's a Puritan. This is about as Christian of a belief as you can get. I mean, you know, we're her children. She wants to raise us in a Christian way that may even eventually, you know, turn us against her. But she didn't care. She understood the foundation of faith was so important. But most of all, a champion of free speech. I mean, this is the early 90s. Hold on, there's more.
You probably don't remember, y'all were teenagers. Y'all were at what's that Hagee's Church, Cornerstone. And that's another thing. If I sent you to Cornerstone, where you were going to be taught and raised to against my lifestyle, because faith was more important. And so I didn't, in other words, like I wasn't the mother raising you to go to Pride Week. I was the mother that was raising you with what was correct. Belief in God, conservative values, believe in freedom of speech, respecting the sovereignty of others.
Are the liberals going to attack me? Are they going to attack me for, I don't know, listening to my mother? Again, a woman, a person of color, a legal immigrant, a Mexican, and a lesbian? I mean, she says it right here. It's the most Christ-like example I've ever seen in my life. My mother sent me to Cornerstone Christian School. It's a mega church, if you're unfamiliar, a mega church in San Antonio. Sent me to their school knowing that quite possibly me and my brother would emerge out of there looking down on her for her lifestyle and her practices, because she wanted us to be raised with faith. She wanted her sons to be Christian. I can't think of a more selfless thing for a mother to do. And here she is, telling the world how she feels. Well, let's find out how she feels about immigration. Or, I don't know, are you going to tell her how she should feel? Huh? Are you going to tell her how she should feel about these dirty fucking illegal criminals who cut in line? Are you going to tell her how she should feel? Oh, no, we're racist, not you, right?
So, my parents, who are both citizens, brought me to the United States when I was a little girl. We came through the whole legal process, and, you know, it was cumbersome. They didn't have a lot of money, and yet we didn't break any laws. So I am an immigrant, but I'm a lawful immigrant. I'm also a gay woman.
Mom, that's gross.
I do not in any way stand or want to be represented by people who are forcing and cramming their sexuality down the throats of families and conservatives and Christian people. I am a strong Trump supporter. And I have been
Based. Can we say based? Can we say based? Can we say based?
I'm a legal immigrant. I've been in this country since I was 6 years old. This is my home. This is my country. But I came here legally. I'm also a gay woman.
Mom.
I was born gay. I didn't become gay.
Gross.
I was born gay. This isn't a fashion or a fad for me. This is who I am. And I am a very adamant, strong Trump supporter.
All right, we'll let it slide.
What I understand about the Democratic Party is that the only thing that they like about gay people is the fact that gay people, for the most part, do not reproduce.
I mean, to be fair, that's what I like too.
Fact. If you look at it, everything that they have done has backfired and has set the gay movement back years. When we originally fought for gay rights, this is what it looked like. Gay rights simply meant I am a human being just like you. And citizens of this country that are over the age of 18 have a right to privacy. What two consenting adults, keyword consenting, do in the privacy of their own home is none of your business. And that's it.
Boom. And that's it. She fought for the privacy, not this public lewdness. There's more. Yeah, my mom is incredibly based, guys. Let's see what we got here.
One of the fundamental freedoms that I tell young people that they must retain is they must retain freedom over their own body, and you've got to retain freedom over your own mind. When I was a young person with 7 billion people on the planet.
I mean, she's a woman, so she talks a lot, but hear her out.
Today, I feel sorry for you. You probably don't even know what you like or what you think. Because if you dare to cross the accepted social narrative that is being force-fed down your throat from every single angle and every single news form and every single social media platform and every single influencer and every single actor, you can get canceled. And there is, for your information, an innate trepidation, fear that is inherent in every human being about being ostracized. Even death is not feared like this is. And it goes back to the time that we were cavemen and that we were part of a tribe and that we moved along and hunted. And if you got ostracized by your tribe, then the peril of dying alone or being mauled by other animals and whatever dangers they face was real. And that's in your DNA. People, governments, agencies that are very well aware of this use it to their advantage. And nothing has had more power than using the power of cancellation. But it's up to you to liberate yourself. It's up to you to set yourself free. When they talked about the insurrectionists in January 6th and
Goats.
the damage that they caused, they didn't name the date. So I spoke up and I said, I know, I can't believe that the BLM movement just a few days ago for New Year's of 2015 cost over $7 billion of damage. And they were like, what? We were talking about the January 6th. I go, oh, I thought you were talking about the billions of dollars. Look it up because there were insurance claims of damage and destruction and theft that was caused by the BLM movement.
Based.
So when they showed up spontaneously to protest and already had stacks of bricks waiting for them.
The bricks, guys, the bricks.
Who brought those stacks of bricks in and who paid for that? And you know, I've known people that are like-minded and believe in the same cause, and you can't get more than a dozen of them to unify behind anything. This is just amazing to me that hundreds and thousands of them. Oh, wait. Was there not Craigslist ads looking for crisis actors? Y'all remember the big deal with Elon Musk and USAID? USAID handed funds to NGOs to pay for this. And another interesting fact is that the places where the stacks of bricks were placed in front of businesses all happened to be in places that were, by causing the destruction of the business, it ended up being very lucrative, and a lot of money was made for certain segments, bankers of the population, just suspiciously so. So these riots didn't take place, 2 blocks down where that property was worthless. It took place right smack where the destruction of these businesses was beneficial to people with deep pockets.
You know, a lot of you already know this on my squad, obviously, but, this is an appeal to the agnostic. And my tone might have been harsh from the beginning, but this is an appeal to the agnostic, a plea. If you can't hear it from me, hear it from her. Don't try and cancel me. As you can tell, my mother raised me. We don't give a fuck. I don't think you've ever come across, Thanos in the flesh when it comes to this issue. You only make people like me stronger when you try and do that. But again, guys, this isn't DEFCON 3. This isn't me trying to flex. This isn't anything. This is an appeal to the agnostic. My mother checks off all the boxes. If anyone should be on the front lines with you at these fucking No Kings protests, you would think it's her with regards to the demographics. This is a plea. This is a plea. If you can't hear it from a face like me, hear it from her. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, she's talking about the Craigslist ads from the BLM riots. You don't even have to go back that far. There were Craigslist ads, and I'm going to splice them in this video. There were Craigslist ads from this past weekend at the No Kings protests. And don't you see the irony of a No Kings protest? No Kings protest? Really? When on your side, Joe Biden skipped the primaries, you coronated your president-elect, Kamala Harris, you forcibly injected vaccines in all of our arms, you had hotlines set up where we could call and rat on our neighbors if they weren't quarantining properly, you forcibly shut down all businesses during the pandemic. I mean, the list goes fucking on and on. But you want to talk about a No Kings protest? I mean, you had Canadians at the No Kings protest when they have a fucking king. But it goes beyond that. No kings. Christ is king. Let's see if my mother has anything more to say before we wrap this.
So I'll give it to you in Spanish. Este mensaje es a mi raza. Y quiero decirles que por el amor de Dios, no sean títeres.
All right, I'm not going to play all the Spanish. She goes off. Let's see. I think she gave me a translation. Again, we're pleading to the agnostic here. This is an appeal. Here's the translation.
What that message said in Spanish was, it was a message to those of Hispanic and immigrant status. And what I said was, for the love of God, don't be a puppet. The people that are formulating this in a very organized manner across the United States are people that are nothing like us. They have deep pockets and they have their own agenda. And if you think that you are part of that agenda, you're being played. They are utilizing you.
Bruh. Based. Hang on. There's more.
All you hear is hatred. Vandalized Teslas? Hey, I get to drive whatever car I want. I don't have a Tesla, but guess what? Whether you like what I'm doing or not, you don't get to destroy my car. If I don't like what you're doing, do I get to go and destroy your car, your home, take your brother, your father, your cousin, and crack their heads open? And then I'm the good guy? If you are a part of that, you are not the good guy. And the people that are directing you to do that, they are not good people either.
Based. All right, guys, you get the point. I brought my mom in. You had to go, oh, he must have a bad relationship with his mother. Oh, he hates women, blah, 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 blah. I had to show you guys. I come from a free thinker, you know. And the sad part is, maybe I lost a few people on my side by doing this, by outing my mother. The left will never give me credit for that. What a brave thing I've done here. And honestly, the left should bring me a Pulitzer Prize here. They should bring me a Nobel Peace Prize. I should get some sort of award for putting on full display here. I brought them. I found, like an archaeologist, a lesbian who isn't retarded. Do you know how hard that is? And here I've done that. And they'll never, this is thankless work here. They're never going to give me my flowers for this. I'll never see a trophy. I highlight a lesbian who isn't retarded. I should be getting a phone call from President L, President G, President B, President D. Thankless work. But, you know, I probably lost some people on my side for even doing this. All jokes aside, the left will never give me credit. They'll call me homophobic. They'll say this, they'll say that. When the truth is, you know, I very well might have lost some people on my side for even putting my mother, who has that kind of lifestyle, on a pedestal. But my mother is a saint. You know, my mother is a very holy woman. And we joke around. We call her a based bull dyke. We make jokes about LGBTQ here. But the truth is, you know, my mother and father met in church. My mom trying to pray the gay away. And my dad, you know, recovering drug addict, they met in church. He got clean. They met. My mother was a holy woman. They only had sex 3 times. In her entire life, she had sex 3 times. Once to consummate the marriage on her wedding anniversary in the eyes of God. She had sex for God. The second time, on Christmas Eve, where she conceived me and I was born 9 months later on Labor Day. Yes, she's that literal-minded. And then one more time on her wedding anniversary with my father, where they conceived my little brother. 3 times her entire life. Then after that, you know, my parents split up. My mother met my stepmother. They were together for 25 years. But, and I'm talking to the people on the right here, it wasn't a physical relationship. There was no sexual nature to it. These were 2 women, asexual in nature, who had a partnership and a strong foundation of faith. These are principled people, you know. And you might say, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. How dare you put your mother on display here? Hey, my mother's a saint. Your mother probably was a whore. So don't get mad at me. You probably saw men coming in and out of the house, divorce after divorce. Is this my daddy? I didn't have to fucking deal with that, you know? God, I can't even imagine me coming home. You know, I look, there's a fucking cold casserole on the table. I sit down to eat it, sadly, woefully. I hear noises from mommy's bedroom. Fuck me. I wouldn't have known what to do, you know? I really wouldn't have. Sitting there, she comes out drenched in sweat, obviously just dick down. Are you enjoying your dinner, sweetie? You eat the fucking hamburger helper, Ma. You eat it, huh? This is what you do to your own son, Ma. Your flesh and blood, Ma. Your flesh and blood. I didn't have to do that. You know, it was a Christian household, despite her lifestyle choices. I wouldn't have been able to handle it, you know. So if that was the lifestyle that you're accustomed to, I pity you. Don't feel sorry for me. Now look, I'm not calling your mother a whore, so don't, you know, if you thought that was about you, I don't know your fucking personal life. Calm down. Get your head out of your ass. You're too egocentric to even listen to this. If you think I'm talking about you, just bask in the brilliance on display here. The fact that I was able to jump wave and somehow take a lesbian lifestyle and Rumpelstiltskin straw into gold, transmutate it, you know, and making her a patron of the saints and the angels here. This is what you get with me, guys. You definitely don't want to be on an opposing team. You know, and I get in a lot of trouble. I got in trouble for saying my views on these No Kings protests. And you would think they'd have some self-awareness. You'd think they'd have a sense of irony. To come against a Mexican? You know, what do they say? When a person of color talks, you shut up and listen. Okay? Oh, no. But he's not on our team. He votes red. So all rules go out the window. Oh, it doesn't matter that she's a lesbian. Oh, it doesn't matter that she's Mexican. Oh, it doesn't matter that she's an immigrant. Oh, it doesn't matter that she's a woman. She's on that side. And the gloves come off. And they say the most racist, homophobic, misogynistic things imaginable. This is what happens every time. They don't give a fuck about your identity. They use you. And they just try to absorb you for power. That's all that they want. You know, when someone like me disagrees with your politics, I don't like your politics. I hate them, in fact. When someone like them disagrees with the politics of someone like me, they don't hate my politics. They hate me. And this is what happens. You know, the people that spoke out to me, the people that were coming and attacking me after the last podcast, after, you know, some of the stances I made about these stupid-ass No Kings protests that are being funded by communist China. It's being investigated right now. We'll put up a graphic. The people that came to me, a lot of them were single mothers. And it's ironic to me because you see these single moms, right? And you just know their kids at home. And of course, they're not paying for a sitter. They ask their mothers to sit them. Grandma. They ask their mothers to sit their child. They're getting free childcare. They have no shame to unabashedly dress like whores, leave the house, leave their dependent with their mothers, grandma, while they're still dependents living at home. They go out, again, dressed like whores, not shopping for a father for their child. No. They go to the same places and see the same faces. They know who's going to be there. That's how low vibrational they are. They already know who's going to be there. And they go there and, you know, they're not looking for someone who can come home and raise their child, even though statistically, when that child grows up without a father, it doesn't really have a shot. They're still not shopping for a father. What they might do instead is meet a Foot Locker employee, meet a Lids employee, and go home with that employee and eat his asshole. This is what we're talking about here. And they'll go, oh, don't you know how to treat a lady? Don't you know how to treat a lady? Yeah, I know how to treat a lady. Nothing about that is ladylike. You used to be able to go out to a bar and say, oh my God, look at this angel. God, must be a virgin. I wonder if she's ever even kissed a man. I just have to know who she is. I know how to treat a lady. I also know how to treat a dog. And that's what we're talking about here. Dogs. And I'm not here to pick on single moms, but what I am here to say, and I wanted to point all that out, their politics reflect their lifestyles. They have no problem as dependents dumping out another dependent, staying at home, forcing their mother to watch over them and their children. Just a real suck on society. These leeches, these parasites, these fucking locusts, they have no problem and no self-awareness. Oh, resource, 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 mine, mine, mine. They want everything from everyone except their fucking jobs. And their politics reflect that. These people have the nerve to tell other people what a society should look like. This is what they do. This is how they live their lives. And they live with such a self-awareness that they want to force that type of political spectrum on a world of people that, I don't know, maybe are here to learn and grow. When I was younger, I realized very quickly there's two types of people in the world. Those that are here to learn and grow, and those that are here to just live day to day. These meandering dipshits. I wonder what's on TV. I'm just gonna go eat. Burger or pizza? And you know who I'm talking about. You know, I had this girl I was seeing. It was purely physical. This was during Trump's run against Biden, not this past run where he was running against Kamala. But when Trump was running against Biden before that election was stolen, I was seeing this girl and it was physical. And, you know, she was cool with it at first that I was MAGA. But then as election season ramped up, she finally had to walk. And she wasn't very nice about it. Now, this woman was a single mother. And her child was born with a leg discrepancy. He had a gimp. His foot was mangled up. She had the nerve to write me a paragraph, writing me off, disparaging me, demonizing me for my political beliefs, and saying, oh, this will never work. This will never work. We have to leave. And I just thought, sweetheart, don't flatter yourself. You knew this was physical. Don't tell me this would never work. I have no plans for the future for you. Your cunt is a retard factory. Are you kidding me? Of course, I never said this. But this is the kind of lack of self-awareness that comes from that side. You know, I had another person that disparaged me. He came attacking me. Oh, you dress up like Kanye. His name's Ye. You dress up like Kanye. You have an identity crisis. This is what this guy was telling me. Oh, man, you need to get an identity. You like Trump as a Mexican. Oh, you dress up like Kanye. That's what this guy was saying. You have an identity crisis. So I go and I look on his page. I don't know him. He's Cuban. He's a Cuban communist. Are you fucking serious? Pot calls kettle black once again. They have no self-awareness. And guys, this entire podcast is a showcase for you. This is a showcase for you. The last podcast, I don't mention politics once. I praise a woman, my mother, a lesbian, a legal immigrant, a Mexican. I put her on a pedestal. They still found a way. They still found a way. I made an intention not to talk about politics the last time, and a lot of people tuned in wanting a fresh political take. Instead, I did a podcast that was about tone. It was about temperature. It was about texture. It wasn't information driven. So here I am. Here I am. Can you still say those things? You're going to find a way. And that's what they do. This is why, gentlemen, this is why there's no point. There's no point in staying silent for them. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you say. They don't want you to say anything. It is our jobs to smash the Overton window. Define Overton window.
The Overton window is the range of ideas or policies considered acceptable or mainstream in public discourse at a given time. It's like a sliding scale of what's politically or socially thinkable versus what's seen as too extreme or unthinkable. The window shifts as public opinion changes or influential figures push boundaries, making previously radical ideas more acceptable, or vice versa. Named after Joseph Overton, It's often used to explain how societal norms evolve.
Guys, the Overton window is often shifting. It's on a sliding scale. We need to shatter the Overton window. We've let these morons decide what we can and can't say for far too long. We let the women drive, and look where they brought us. Gender confusion? Are you fucking with me? All ages pride parades with public nudity on display? No king's protests after they almost crowned a queen, a full-on fucking coronation. We've let them drive for far too long. It's our time to seize the Overton window. And I'm not telling you to get a podcast. In fact, there's too many podcasts. I already told you, and I showed you. She raised me. The last thing I give a fuck about is being canceled. Because the last thing I want is love from people who submit to a status quo, that have dogmatic principles of popular consensus. I mean, these people are telling us we should flood our country with illegals. Meanwhile, you have to win a fucking beauty contest to sit at their table. The least inclusive people are telling us we need to be inclusive to murderers, to rapists. We've let them dominate the conversation for far too long. Now, you don't need to get a podcast. You don't necessarily even need to go around speaking your mind unrequested, okay? I'm not telling you to hold court and do a public decree. I'm not telling you that find space when you're out and about to hold an impassioned diatribe. No. What I'm trying to say is when these stupid fucking retards dominate with stupid ideas, you say, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Huh? Shut the fuck up. That's all you have to do. It's time we tell them to shut the fuck up. They've been dominating it for far too long. You know, and many of you, I live in any town, USA. Okay? Now, greater people than me, like Brad Easton Ellis or Matt Berninger from The National or Jonathan Franzen have discussed the perils of being a Midwesterner, and I'll sum it up. The Midwest, far from a border or a coast, kind of landlocked, okay? Because of this, cynicism takes longer to occur in this region than in other regions. And because it happens later in life, the Midwestern inhabitant doesn't become cynical till late 20s, sometimes early 30s. But because it happens later in life, it hits them like a ton of bricks. So this sort of devil may care, I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid, this sort of Peter Pan syndrome carried on for far too long, okay? And then when they realize they're not all going to be rock stars and movie stars, cynicism hits them like a ton of bricks. And they become hardened and bitter, and they clutch onto it like a security blanket. And most of them become alcoholics, fade into obscurity, and they march along lockstep in singularity with the rest of their fucking NPC cattle straight to the fucking slaughterhouse, okay? Now, I live in one of these Anytown, USA cities, but what separates my city, which makes it particularly NPC, is that it's a hub city. And there's many hub cities, especially in the Midwest. These hub cities where you have UPS plants and Ford plants, blah, 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 where half of the population is either employed by these plants or is raised by someone or in close proximity with someone influencing their decisions. Now, I'm not picking on people that work at these plants. I'm not at all. In fact, most of them are good Americans. Most of them were probably a silent majority that stood up in this last election. I'm not picking on them. But what I am saying is, in this region, you're kind of told to just put your fucking head down. You're kind of told to just put your head down and march along. Okay? And if you don't, the NPCs fucking glitch. Now, someone like me realized that very early on. And I realized, oh my God, all I have to do is be unlikable, and the NPCs will glitch and catapult me and mythologize me and make me more myth than man. Easy fucking money. Now, why would I be here? I mean, LA, obviously, liberal shithole. Of course, I'm not going to be in LA. New York, ugh. You know, I don't want to be there either right now, especially, you know, with what the Biden administration did over the past 4 years there. I mean, Trump is cleaning it up, and it does call my name. I can't shit on New York. Guys, I'm a libtard at heart, huh? No, but look, I'm here. And I call myself the last surviving member of the middle class because I like the middle class. You know, these people who cosplay as if they are the middle class, they don't make enough money to be the middle class. Most of them have roommates. They're not homeowners or trying to be homeowners. They live with their parents. They have a fucking office job that neuters them. Before, maybe that could have gotten you, you know, a middle class lifestyle. It doesn't anymore, but they're cosplaying as middle class. They shop at Target. And then you have people that are in the middle class, like myself, that cosplay as if they're in the upper class. They live beyond their means. You know, they marry some stupid bitch that they have to fucking impress their whole lives and try to live above their means. This fucking taskmaster. And they have to pretend to be upper class when they're actually middle class. I like the middle class. I love being in the middle class. I depend on staying in the middle class. I need the boredom of it. The boredom of it is what drives me. That's where my mind gets creative. And these people, they want high stimulating lives. You're missing out. In the boredom is where the creative juices flow. And I don't mean to be sanctimonious. I don't mean to be pious. I'm not trying to sit on a high horse here. Let me put it this way. You remember Gypsy Rose, right? Gypsy Rose had Munchausen syndrome, or a mother that was making her think she was sick when she wasn't, and, you know, kept her imprisoned in her home. Did awful things to that poor girl. Now, Gypsy Rose met a retard on the internet, convinced him to come over and murder her mother. We don't need to be making this girl a celebrity. I can't necessarily blame her, but she should kind of, you know, fade away into obscurity. But I'm not here to talk about Gypsy Rose, okay? I mean, I think it's fucked up that we made her a celebrity, but I bring this all up to say, guys, Gypsy Rose yourself. I mean it. You need to put yourself in a position where no matter what carrot they dangle in front of you, you cannot be compromised. Okay? Me staying in an Anytown, USA, monotonous, banal landscape is me Gypsy Rosing myself. I am Gypsy Rose's mother, and my spirit is Gypsy Rose. I am starving myself from being a slave to sensuousness. I am starving myself from them being able to wave a baggie in front of my face and chase the invisible goose. I'm not out here chasing dragons. I'm not out here chasing highs. I live a Christian lifestyle. I live a sober lifestyle going on 11 years. There is nothing anyone can put in front of my fucking face that will get me to deter from my path. And this is a path of righteousness. You might go, oh, you're a hypocrite. Middle class, cosplaying is yay. No, this is an armor because you can't tell me anything. And this is not a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is a sheep in wolf's clothing. I protect the Lamb of God inside when I put on this Christian armor. I am a member of the middle class. I am Gypsy Rosing myself, and it's very important to do so that they cannot dangle a carrot in front of your face. I mean, all the hot women move to LA and New York and Miami. They really do, you know? If you're a hot girl in high school, everyone in your life tells you, you're too good for this city. You should move to LA. You should move to New York. You should move to Miami. They do. In these Anytown USAs, you're left with the scraps. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Especially if you're used to dimes. I've lived in all the major cities. Then no one, and I mean no one, can hold you hostage. Guys, I'm trying my best to open source code cheat codes on how to break free of the things that they use to control you, to shut you down, to silence you. You don't need to run out and get a podcast. You don't need to go home. You don't need to grab your fucking girlfriend and go, "You Kamala voting bitch, how dare you?" You don't need to do that. You might need to go to your mom and go, "Mom, why weren't you a lesbian? This could have all been better." Call me homophobic all you want, huh? Look, guys, you just grab your mom. "Mom, huh? You raised me to be a pansy. You should have helped me. Why didn't you?" Guys, this podcast isn't information driven. This is about tone. This is about temperature. This is about texture. You don't have to love what I'm saying. You don't have to like what I'm saying. I don't expect you to even. I'm just asking you to take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I okay with people not subscribing to my cult? And they say our side's the one in the cult. I'm going to leave y'all with one last thing. If I was to wear a "Make America Great Again" hat, I would be looked at as an extremist. Meanwhile, on the left, protect trans kids with an assault rifle on their t-shirts. And that is not only viewed as normal, people will go, "Oh, yes, yes," when they see them in public. Because the left has rejected religion, where every tribe in the history of humanity has a sense of religion or an idea of God. The current left has rejected religion, and they have traded religion for liberalism. It is your religion. It is your dogma. And what further proof do you need than these people taking their own children, the most innocent and pure, and sacrificing them to their ideals? What better way to show that I'm all in behind this? You are not voting. You are not voting for politics. This is not political. And I apologize to you if you're offended by this. I apologize to you if you think I'm misleading others. And I apologize to you if you found yourself on an algorithm that works against you. I have nothing but love, empathy, and mercy for you. But this is what a Christian looks like. Praise God.